From my perspective, this is my personal opinion, right? So before we understand what ZeroUI is and how it's going to benefit the user, I believe that we need to understand why is there so much obsession over ZeroUI, right? So, I mean, if you think about humans as we are, right? 500,000 years ago probably was the first time we apparently started communicating using sounds with each other, and only 30,000 years ago was the symbol invented, and then the language, and now we are communicating with each other in a language. And even when we domesticated animals, we are even like pets, we tell them to fetch a ball, we are communicating with them in our own way. But one particular thing that we haven't come to terms with in communication is the computer, right? So ever since it has been developed, whether it was punch cards or machine code or the command line or the graphic user interface, we are still communicating with it in its own terms and in its own ground. So I think time has come with the advent of cloud and advancements in artificial intelligence. We can communicate with machines in much more natural way, like we always wanted to do. So I think, again, going back, solving trust issue will be a big challenge for the companies which are going to launch AI-related products in the future anyways. So, I mean, but again, from a customer expectation standpoint, it probably the trust factor, they're more lenient based on the type of device I think that they will be interacting with. Like, for example, if you take an Alexa device, which is in our countertops, which was released 4 or 3 years ago, probably, mostly. At that time, it was not really recognizing voices that well, right? But people were willing to stick with it because the fact that it is learning every day. So as more people use it, as data gets fed into the system, the models get better and the prediction rates get better. So devices like those are great. I mean, even in Alexa, like maybe asking a weather or maybe playing my math skill is fun. It will be okay, but doing a financial transaction on an Alexa is a different ballgame. Again, how do you trust that system? How do we design a user interface for that? How many of you actually, when you log into websites, have seen the street signs and people ask you to select the streets? And do you know why that data is being collected? Anyone? Like, why is like instead of a CAPTCHA, why previously they were used to, they asked us to identify letters in the pictures, but why has this street signs thing come up? Training, exactly. All that data that we are feeding is being used to train autonomous cars. So Google uses that data to identify streets, street signs, roads, bridges. So that's how the machines are. So if I have to sit in an autonomous car today, maybe I will be not that trusting that machine. But that's why Google is taking that effort to make sure that its predictions are right, and we are actually helping build that car without we even know. So I think it all depends, as going back to how personalized experience you like, right? We give websites so much of our data because they're with the promise that they're going to give back a personalized experience to us, right? So I think it all depends on human to human on how much comfortable we are with these devices. But eventually this is just the starting. As more technology advancements come in and the trust develops, I think we will be interacting with machines in a more natural way, and we won't be so worried about sharing data. So as the evolution of a user interface is changing more to ZeroUI, right? We are working with machines which are intelligent and which needs a lot of data in the back to be processed and to make predictions. So I think there are two factors which are like human and data. So I believe like UXD researchers or like UXD design people from the future will be from fields like data science or even psychology and human biology. Because I'm trying to understand human, the way he interacts with machines, I think is going to be very crucial. And also being able to visualize the data that is being collected, and so that we can come up with good experiences. Maybe a fun example is like, maybe you're trying to bake a cake for your son's birthday, and you're about to bake it, and you ask for Alexa for a recipe. Alexa contacts your refrigerator to see if you have all the ingredients. Refrigerator has a object detection technology to tell you whether you have the ingredients or not, and then places a order to your local pantry, and the ingredients come to your home right then and there, and saves you from the panic moment. and actually piggybacking again on your comment, right? I think teams embedded with different disciplines working as one unit will be critical for success in the future. And I can give you a good example from last week, actually, in Fidelity. We were in Salt Lake City. So my team is actually building a virtual assistant for associates. So when you call in Fidelity, the associate is going to type in the question or the keywords based on what he understood from the customer call, and the tool is going to give you the precise answer. I mean, that's the golden state we are aiming for. So we are in our first MVP, but we actually went to Salt Lake City to sit with the associates and see how they use the tool. We had UXD people in our team. We had developers. We had business analysts, product owners from various functions acting as one team in a room. So it was a great experience. And for me, it was like in 11 years in Fidelity, I did double jacking for the first time. So double jacking is, for people who don't know, is you can actually listen into a customer call along with the associate. And it gives you a real good understanding of what an associate goes through when a phone call comes in. It makes you connect with them, right? So as a developer or a product owner, when you come back, you can design products which are really solving their needs at that time.